Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. The Israelites have been scattered across the four corners of the earth, as prophesied in Deuteronomy, the 20th chapter. Here in Israel United in Christ, we need your help to recover the remnant of our people, teach them the gospel. Please help us, support us, and join or donate to the Booster Club today. Shalom.
Hocus pocus, the wicked in a daydream. They painted their likeness, dropped the smoke screen. I ate the little book, it gave me protein. I'm walking with giants, yeah, you never seen.
Hocus pocus, them boys, where they with at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that? Disappeared in my eyes, where they with at? If you sit there, you know you can't get in. Hocus pocus, them boys, where they with at? Took them up in the sky, how they do that? My eyes, where they went at? If you sit there, you know you can't get in.
I'm laughing, they like what happened. They just vanished. A black man just cracked the sky now. You can panic, you robbed me of my culture with no problem. And now you're about to die here like Dennis Rodman. I told you, thought I told you in Obadiah that you don't want no beef like empanadas. I've been here, yep, I've been here. If he got a yellow thin here, he can't come in here. You don't even got no melanin, you need some skincare. I vote Christ for president, don't bring your sin here. I'm on a different element, my people must read.
Touch on during the Q&A is that thing we call the comfort zone. Have we become comfortable in the truth? Have we become comfortable in our walk? Have we become comfortable in the fight? Let's open up with Philippians chapter 3, verse 14. Let's find out about this comfort zone. Philippians 3, verse 14.
The book of Philippians, chapter 3 and verse 14. I press toward the mark.
Actually start from, let me see, read 12, let me see what it says.
Verse 12. Not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehended of Christ Jesus.
So start right there. We cannot, in this truth, as we go through this walk, we can never say we have attained perfection. You can never be comfortable saying, I have known all the scriptures. I have studied all the books. I have watched all the videos. I have no questions, no concerns. I have made it. You can never think like that. Read it again.
Verse 12. Not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehended of Christ Jesus.
Read.
Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth unto those things which are before. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus.
So verse 14 is saying we must press towards the mark. That pushing towards the mark is not a comfortable spot. It's a constant push. It's a constant affirmation of the direction you're heading in. Sometimes in that push, you need a leader to push you, because you yourself, your mind might regress back into I'm good. And there's someone there that says, you know what? We haven't made it yet. We aren't good. We need to continue to do what? Push towards the mark. Now, back in verse 12, it says, not as though I had already attained. Let's get an understanding of that. Give 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 12. Because we will never be perfect. We are trying to attain perfection through the keeping of God's laws, statutes, and commandments, but we are not fully perfect. We are trying to attain that perfection. Read.
1 Corinthians chapter 13 and verse 12. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part.
So see that? We know in part. Read.
But then shall I know even as also I am known. And now abideth faith, hope, charity.
No, that's it. So it says that we know in part. We only know part of what's going on. That's why we're not full. That full perfection is not on us yet. But we are being what? We are being purified. We are being put through the furnace. We are being chastised. We are being going through the trials and tribulations. So we can never be comfortable in this walk. Let's reverse. Go back to Philippians and read the whole thing again.
Philippians chapter 3 and verse 12. Not as though I had already attained, either were already perfect, but I follow after, if that I may apprehend that for which also I am apprehended of Christ Jesus. Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind, and reaching forth unto those things which are before.
So we are reaching forth to the things that are before us, these commandments that has been given to us. We are trying to get the knowledge, the understanding of how to apply it in our lives, our marriage, ourselves, the self-examination. So we should have a plethora of questions on how to push forward. Not just pushing forward individually, pushing forward as a brotherhood, pushing forward as a husband and wife union, pushing forward as a congregation. What is needed to attain the mark that is set before us? Finish it up.
Verse 14. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus.
So we are pushing forward to that mark, the prize, which is a high calling. It's not you're not called for some mediocre position. You're called to rule the earth. And the Lord is not going to give it to amateurs. He's not going to give it to a people that are comfortable where they're at. Because that comfortability means that you want to stay in Babylon. You're comfortable being here. You're not engaged in the fight of what do I need to do to take it to the next step. What works am I putting in that the Lord can record and say, man, they really want the kingdom. They're actually going to fight for it. It's not just by fair speeches that I have a people giving to me, saying how much I love you, Lord, but there's no work or effort. We're comfortable in our walk. Let's bring the word comfort zone. Let's look that up. It should be the first link on Telegram. Comfort zone.
Comfort zone. A place or situation where one feels safe or at ease and without stress.
That is a very dangerous place to be. Read it again. I'm going to read it. It says a place or situation where one feels safe. We should never feel safe in this captivity. Just look at the news. Just look at the pandemic that we are still in. Feeling safe is, I have a lot of money in my bank account, and in 2 months, 3 months, it could be completely depleted. Because the Most High has done what? He has bring a curse into the earth.
I'll tell you one way. I was talking to Captain Gideon in Boston. He says he worked for, I think, Gucci or one of those major companies. What he noticed is a lot of our people who've been saving up the money during the quarantine, they're the main ones flooding these stores and spending up all the money that they saved up through the pandemic. They saved up all the money, like thousands of dollars. Now they're buying up Gucci, Louis Vuitton, etc. That's not wisdom.
Yeah, that's not wisdom. And you know what, Cap? The thing where the mind works, our minds are constantly looking for stress-free, safe, comfortable situations. And those are the places that don't produce change. When you're comfortable in something, you stay exactly where you're at. But what does the Lord say? We must change. Let's get that in Ephesians. That is Ephesians. It says, put off the old man. Ephesians chapter 4. And start at verse 19.
Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 19. Who being past.
Start at 17.
Verse 17. This I say therefore and testify in the Lord, that ye henceforth walk not as other Gentiles walk, in the vanity of their mind.
So we are not supposed to walk in the vanity of their minds or the foolish thoughts even in our mind. Read.
Having the understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God through the ignorance that is in them, because of the blindness of their heart.
So once we come into the laws, statutes, and commandments, our minds should have been illuminated. We should start to see what it takes to attain that mark. Our eyes should be opening up. Read.
Verse 19. Who being past feeling have given themselves over unto lasciviousness, to work all uncleanness with greediness. But ye have not so learned Christ. If so be that ye have heard him and have been taught by him, as the truth is in Jesus, that ye put off concerning the former conversation.
The former conversation, the old man, that is the comfortable spot. That is the comfort zone. If you are still in that zone, that is, your life is in danger. That is not the zone we can be in or should be in. Read verse 22 again.
Verse 22. That ye put off concerning the former conversation, the old man, which is corrupt, according to the deceitful lusts, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind.
So that comfort zone is that old man, that or old woman that we often revert back. Because you know what? That old man and old woman is the safe place to you. You don't have to make no change. There's no effort. You don't have to put in no work. And you'll see that as we go through the psychological definitions of comfort zone, your mind reverts to that place. Because there's no effort of change involved. Change requires you to come out of your comfort spot. For me, I used to find it difficult to speak in front of people. That would me when I first came into the truth, I would struggle to speak in front of a congregation. But in order for me to do the Lord's work, I had to come out of that comfort zone. I have to discipline myself and say, you know what? I can't stay comfortable because the Lord actually called me to do a job. I can't tell the Lord, well, hey, you call some other brothers, use them.
Jeremiah tried.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Yeah, he said, say not thou art a child. But the point I'm getting at, all of us have something that we have that comfortable spot that we like to be in. We want to just play the back role, fly under the radar. But no, the Lord is calling leaders, calling men. And it's not just for men, this is for sisters too. Because he's watching the works of everyone. Everyone, they have to play a part. They were given a gift and they were called according to his purpose. Go ahead, Cap. No, go ahead.
Check. Go to Jeremiah chapter 1. Good point. Now, folks, Jeremiah tried that with the Lord about being comfortable. The Lord shot it down. Read that verse 4 on down.
Jeremiah chapter 1 and verse 4. Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So the same thing, Jeremiah was born as a man just like we was. I know he found a special place where the Most High talked to him. He's written in the book of life for us to learn from in these last days. But the same way that Jeremiah was ordained a prophet in the belly to speak on the behalf of God, it's the same thing with each and every one of you brothers in here. But look at Jeremiah's response. Read. Verse 6. Then said I, Lord God, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. I'm comfortable where I'm at. I'm not ready to grow up in the spirit. That's what that is. I'm not ready to grow up yet. Leave me where I am, Lord. Find somebody else to do the work. Read on. But the Lord said unto me, Say not, I am a child. That's not an excuse with me. Go ahead. But thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee, thou shalt speak. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith the Lord. Then the Lord put forth his hand and touched my mouth. And the Lord said unto me, Behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. That's every one of you, brothers. The Lord put his words in your mouth. If you got the understanding of Deuteronomy 28, the Lord filled your cup with a little bit of understanding. Now you have to practice on getting of filling up that cup till it runs over and spills off into somebody else. Start speaking the word to them. Now read verse 10. Verse 10. See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. What you understand is the Lord is, this is twofold. Now, it says he set him over the kingdoms to root out, to pull down and destroy. Jeremiah didn't do none of that. He wasn't set over kingdom. The Most High is talking about the 144,000. When it's time for you to rule, I set you over them. Don't be afraid of their faces. I'm with you. The words, my words are in your mouth. Read it again, verse 10. Verse 10. See, I have this day set thee over the nations. Jeremiah wasn't over no nations when he was prophesying in Jerusalem. Lord talking about something far off. Read on. And over the kingdoms. He wasn't over no kingdoms. Go ahead. To root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant. That's what every brother's job is going to be to do when that time comes. When the Lord says he's going to thrust the enemies out and say, go, slay them, set up my righteous, set up my kingdom. That's in each and every one of you brothers. Can't be comfortable where you at. You got to grow up, sister. You got to grow up spiritually. Miami got to grow up spiritually as a congregation. Good.
And Cap, you made a good point because you mentioned Jeremiah was given a job. And a lot of times, like when Cap asks questions, what you've been reading, you'll notice that all the deep books are mentioned. All the deep books are always mentioned. But let's read this. Sirach chapter 3, verse 22. And we are not saying you cannot read those heavy chapters, quote unquote. But if you notice what tool is given to us to initially wake the nation of Israel up? What book, brothers? Deuteronomy 28. You got to ask yourself why the Lord choose that book in the beginning of the Bible, where it's the trigger for waking up the nation of Israel. He didn't give you the prophet Isaiah, Ezekiel, Daniel. Read what you got.
Sirach chapter 3 and verse 21.
22.
But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence. For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret.
Read.
Be not curious in unnecessary matters.
So start right there. A lot of times leadership will read that to new people that come into the truth, And they might get highly offended because it is not necessary at that time to seek things that are unnecessary for your mind. But read on.
For more things are showed unto thee than men understand.
Listen, Deuteronomy 28:68 is a chapter, is a precept that even you new brothers is more than the earth understand. The earth don't understand it. You can Google it. They can view it, but they can't break it down and connect the dots. That was given to the Israelites. To do what? Wake up Israel. So you can't be comfortable because we're still in captivity. We can't be comfortable. Drop that and let's go to, I want to pull up that article. It's the article that says pros and cons of comfort zone. And we want to scroll down where it says cons. The pros and cons of comfort zone. Start at start where it says without a doubt.
Without a doubt, there are convincing reasons to spend time in your comfort zone.
So you can convince yourself to stay in a comfort zone. I can chill, I can relax, it's stress. I have no stress. I'm comfortable. I already know how to do this. It's easy. But read on.
However, breaking free of these constructs can also be enticing. The cons of staying in your comfort zone include holding back.
This is a problem with staying in your comfort zone. You hold back. Because, number one, maybe you don't want to be put on Front Street. You don't want to be embarrassed. You feel a sort of way by, exposing your vulnerable side. All these things are negative attributes when you stay in your comfort zone. You hold back. You hold back the thing that you was called in to do. You might have a gift to help the congregation, a talent. You hold it back. There's areas in the body. You have young prophets, young daughters. You may have something that could be used to assist young daughters, guide them up the right way in the kitchen, the cleaning. So this is like a mini government. But because you want to stay comfortable, you just want to sit in the chair, hear Cap speak, hear Bishop speak, go home, and then come back and repeat. That's what it be.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you that this is my worst thought as a captain, and I talk to Captain Barrett, Captain all the time. I tell him, I said, I pray these brothers don't show up to the Sabbath, wait for the Sabbath to be over. I was talking to us about the other day when I mentioned that. I said, these brothers is coming to the Sabbath, waiting for the Sabbath to be over. So get the Cafe 144, they can drink, music, they can do the cha-cha slide, whatever they might. I said, I hope that ain't the spirit of the brothers here in Miami, because that's what it seems like. That's what I said. It seems like they wait for the after Sabbath activity.
Hey, Cap, as we go through the scriptures, you'll soon find out that the spirits in Egypt that came into the wilderness might be in here. But hey, it's of the Lord. Read. Holding back.
If you stay in a comfort zone too long, it can make you complacent. If you don't perform activities that somewhat scare or challenge you, you miss it.
Hey, let's look up the word complacent. The link should be in Telegram. We're gonna look up complacent and come right back here. Let's look up that word complacent.
Complacent. Feeling so satisfied with your own abilities or situation that you feel you do not need to try any harder.
You see that? That is a bad thought to have in your mind. where you're going through. You might be going through a situation, or let's put that back up there. Put that definition back up there. It says feeling so satisfied with your own abilities or situation means that you have what's that word? You have settled. You have settled. You have said, you know what? I made it this far, and the Lord needs to save me to this point that I made it. I don't need to do nothing else. I don't need to pass out no flyers, fold no flyers. I don't need to read. I don't need to ask any questions, because when Jesus comes, he's going to answer all my questions in the wilderness. I'm waiting on Jesus. All I need to learn is the 10 Commandments, the Lord's Prayer, and know that the kingdom of heaven is for me, and I'm the greatest man or woman on earth. I've made it. But, we trying to make it comical, but that's a very dangerous place to be. Because when you do that, Satan is right there saying, all right, I got you. I got you. So we cannot be complacent. Read holding back again, back to the article.
Holding back. If you stay in a comfort zone too long, it can make you complacent. You don't perform activities that somewhat scare or challenge you.
You see that? Activities that somewhat scare or challenge you. When I read that, the first photograph that came to my mind was Captain Zakar. That was the first thought, because, I'm telling you, this is serious. You need a leader to push you. Even up here. Up here is not fun and games. And a lot of people want to be up here and don't realize that up here is not fun and games. We make it fun and games, but it's not.
These brothers don't want to be on the Monday night call. Monday, as Officer Azaniah, Monday night calls group, especially for single brothers. But we honest on there with each other, especially when we need to be, because we know that we've got to bring the kingdom. So ain't no foolishness on that. We're literally talking about how to guide the lost sheep back. We bring in all sort of ideas, and when we get out of order, we get checked.
And not only that, when and this is for all leadership, when the leadership sees comfortability setting in, they start to see the slackness coming with it. They start to see all the negative attributes that come with a nation that is becoming comfortable. Like I said before, we're going to actually read that about the Israelites when they came out of Egypt. They actually became comfortable also. And that thing has trickled from generation to generation to generation. It hasn't gone away. It's still here with us. Read. Somewhat to scare you.
Somewhat scare or challenge you.
So we must be challenged in this truth. You got to be challenged. It pushes you to do greater things. Because the last thing you did that you thought was great, no, we're looking to do something greater. We got to top that and top it. To the greatest thing on earth, come and get us. It never stops. So your mind should be working overtime. What is the next thing that I can do to push the truth? What is the next thing? Not just men, sisters. What is the next thing? Can I look into grant writing? Can I look in? And just don't say stuff, but actually execute it. That is coming out of your comfort zone. When we look at doing things in the body, there should be a point that the captain should say, "Hey, we got enough right now. Let's try to get through these 1,000 first before we get any more suggestions." Right now, the suggestion box is at 0 because we're comfortable. We like the juice, we like the after Sabbath meals, the Cafe 144, let's hit them up, the curry goat, the oxtail, you know. And then next Sabbath, repeat. And we repeat. But we're not here to do that. We're trying to push towards the mark. Read. Come on.
You miss out on growth opportunities. In physics, Isaac Newton's first law of motion dictates that a body at rest will remain at rest unless an outside force acts on it. And a body in motion will remain in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. Translate.
All right, so pause right there. Here's a body at rest. Give me Proverbs 26, verse 15.
Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 15. The slothful hideth his hand in his bosom. It grieveth him to bring it again to his mouth.
So that's a slothful person, a person that all they're thinking about is rest. Rest. We can't be like that. Yeah, we need rest, but our minds can't be, we can't be making a schedule for rest. We can't be filling out, you know what, let me, precepts, you know, run. Let me sleep for 4. Let me put them in, sure I get this in. Sleep for 4 hours. Sleep. No, our minds gotta be geared to pushing. Go ahead, Cap.
I do understand this, that I don't know how many brothers in here play sports, but in sports, you know, you get to a point where you feel like you can't go no more. Like your body's gonna break down on you, but you've got somebody yelling in the background and pushing you, and then what happens is they keep pushing you, and you get better and better. And that original starting point where you started on the first day of camp, where it might have been football, basketball, soccer, baseball, 90 days later, a year later, 4 years later, whatever it might be, you are a completely different person. But you would have never got there if that person let you where you was. So that same principles that Esau applies in his Greek philosophies,
Yep.
those things are applied in this truth too. But we got a greater reward when we keep on pushing.
And that push is very important. You must have, even you men in your own circles, you should have someone in your circle to push you. I notice we see like the brothers go and work out at the gym. There's no brother in the circle saying, "Hey, you know what? Put on less weight. Now you got too much weight on, bro. Put on less weight." No, they push each other because they know through that pushing there is a reward. They get big shoulders. They get bulked up. Their shirts start to rip. They look buff. Their wives start to say, "Wow." You know, they're looking for a reward when they go to the gym. Your reward is bigger, so you gotta push. You gotta put on that extra weight. Let's read the next one. No risk, no reward. Let's go back to the article.
No risk, no reward. Perhaps it's an overused phrase, but for good reason. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you don't try something new, you won't succeed at anything new.
You see that? That is something leadership always put on us. You got to, because everything we're doing as leaders is new to us. None of us woke up and your parents said, "Son, the manual to the kingdom of heaven. This is how you're going to be a leader." We have the Bible. We don't have this like a step-by-step guide. Be strong, be this. No, we have to have men in the midst of us to push us, to lead us. Because with no risk, there's no reward. You have to be able to risk it all. You have to be able to give up your life to save it. You got to be able to let it loose. Take hold of it. Read. Go ahead.
Big rewards come to those willing to take risks, even if they aren't large ones. Not learning new skills.
So another attribute of staying in your comfort zone, you do not learn any new skill. You stay, as Deacon Yawasat would say, stagnant. The best type of leader is one that learns a new skill and is able to apply that new skill that he has learned, that the people that he's leading also learn that new skill. So now you have 10 people with a new skill that can go and teach 10 more people. And that's what leadership is. Leading other people to be leaders. That now if something happens to one of those leaders, there's 19 with the same cookie cutter blueprint, and they can't fall. It continues, it push forward like a force that cannot be stopped. But it doesn't happen being comfortable. You must want to learn new things. Challenge yourself. You should be saying, Cap, I want put me in something where I can learn to be more outspoken, where I can learn to lead men in this attribute, in this aspect. Because you have to learn all facets of leading. Leading is not just being able to tell people what to do and you be over people. You got to be able to guide them, push them, encourage them when they need to be encouraged, rebuke them when they need to be rebuked. Let them know they're going off the path, pull them back. All these are different attributes of leaders. There's nothing comfortable about it. Read. Learning new skills. Let's touch that in the scriptures. I think it's in Corinthians. It talks about the gifts. Yeah, let's get that. Probably not. I don't.
Go ahead, bring that article back up. I want to just touch this real quick. Read that again. No, it was the second one. No risk.
No risk, no reward.
No risk, no reward, right? All right, so I want to connect that with the scripture real quick. Numbers 13. Pull Numbers 13. So you got to find out which one are you? Are you the type to take the risk, press forward towards the mark, or the one to get scared and fall back? We're going to get an example right now. Numbers 13. Read that.
Numbers
verse 1.
13 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Send thou men that they may search the land of Canaan.
Search the land of Canaan, because eventually Canaan became what? Israel, right? Come on.
Which I give unto the children of Israel.
Come on.
Of every tribe of their fathers shall ye send a man,
Read.
every one a ruler among them. And Moses by the commandment of the Lord sent them from the wilderness of Paran. All these men were heads of the children of Israel.
So there were known men, chief men of their tribe, right? So the Lord said, get the chief men, have them spy out the land that's eventually going to be their land of milk and honey. Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. Of the tribe of Zebulun, Gadiel the son of Sodi.
Verse 16.
Verse 16. These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land.
So when you get a chance, read those names. Make sure you highlight those names. Because remember, even if you decide to fall back into your fear, be complacent, and not move forward, your name is going to be memorized for that thing too. It's going to be memorized. This is the same brother that said he was too scared to move forward. So you got to be very mindful what you want your name to be remembered as. Read on.
These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land.
Come on.
And Moses called Oshea, the son of Nun, Jehoshua.
Read.
And Moses sent them to spy out the land of Canaan, and said unto them, Get you up this way southward, and go up into the mountain, and see the land, what it is, and the people that dwelleth therein.
Now jump down to verse 20.
Verse 20. And what the land is, whether it be fat or lean, whether there be wood therein or not.
Come on.
And be ye of good courage.
Be of what?
Of good courage.
Come on.
And bring of the fruit of the land. Now the time was the time of the first ripe grapes.
Verse 23.
Verse 23. And they came into the brook of Eshcol, and cut down from thence a branch with one cluster of grapes, and they bare it between two upon a staff.
That's how big the fruit of the land was. It took 2 men to carry it. That's our book. So they had the proof. The land is fruitful. We guaranteed the land. We got instructions from our power. Let's go. Let's go get the land. Now read down, go to verse 28 now.
Verse 28, nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak
Now
there.
this is the report from those chief men. This is the fearful report. Read on.
The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittites and the Jebusites and the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said,
He stilled the people, meaning he built them up. Don't worry, don't be scared. Though we saw those giants, don't be scared. Read on.
let us go up at once and possess it.
Let us what?
Let us go up at once and possess it.
Right. Many of us that would have saw it, we would have been scared. But still, we had courageous men amongst those that were chosen. They still decided, listen, we got this. Don't worry. Let's take this risk to move forward for us to possess this land promised by God. Read on.
For we are well able to overcome it.
We are well able to overcome. Read.
But the men that went up
the men, come on.
The men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we.
Remember we read earlier where the Most High just told you, I got this. You seen what I did for you. You seen who I destroyed before you. This ain't nothing. This is light work. But you still had fearful men that refused to take those risks, who was complacent in the wilderness, didn't want to move forward to possess a land that was promised by our Creator. Read on.
And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, the land through which we have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof. And all the people that we saw in it are men of great stature. And there we saw the giants, the son of Anak, which came of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight.
So what was the end result of those men? Anybody? Who remember what happened to them? Naim, Soldier Naim. What eventually happened? Well, give him a mic. Give him a mic.
Shalom. Because when they were supposed to go up, they didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
And they went after. And the Most High wasn't with them when they went after, and they all died.
Right. They decided to do their own thing. A lot of them was put to death. And eventually what happened? They stayed right there and died off.
And to your point, Cap, you know what that does? That discourages the congregation. That type of comfortable and withholding and not trying to push forward, it keeps the whole congregation back, not just you, the person that's doing it, because now everybody is watching, especially the leaders, and they say, man, well, they're not trying. I don't got to try. And the whole congregation stays stagnant in a discouraging state. So we want to touch on, because we read earlier that not learning new skills. Let's read that in 1 Corinthians 12 and start at verse 4.
The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 4. Now there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord.
So when we read 1 Corinthians chapter 12, everybody in here is given a gift for a specific purpose, for the administration of the body. Read.
And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same God which worketh all in all. But the manifestation of the Spirit is given to every man to profit withal.
See that? But the manifestation of that Spirit, that gift that is in us, is to profit for everyone. Read.
For to one is given by the Spirit the word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Spirit, To another, faith by the same Spirit. To another, the gifts of healing by the same Spirit. To another, the working of miracles. To another, prophecy. To another, discerning of spirits. To another, diverse kinds of tongues.
Speaking of different languages, read.
To another, the interpretation of tongues.
Those that can interpret other languages, read.
But all these worketh that one, and the selfsame Spirit, dividing to every man severally as he will. For as the body is one and hath many members, and all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ. For by one Spirit are we all baptized into one body, whether we be Jews or Gentiles.
Whether it be Jews or the northern kingdom, read.
Whether we be bond or free, and have been all made to drink into one Spirit. For the body is not one member, but many.
So the body that is in here is not based on one single member. It is based on all of us. That's why it's key that if one of us gets in that comfort spot, we should be checking that one and saying, "Hey, no, we didn't make it yet. What are you doing?" You gotta push each other, because sometimes in this truth, life itself, it weighs on you. It's the spirit of Abiel, man. Check. Yeah, so yeah, let me get back my thoughts. So we gotta push each other, because it is one body. Read.
Verse 15. If the foot shall say, because I am not the hand, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the ear shall say, because I am not the eye, I am not of the body, is it therefore not of the body? If the whole body were an eye, where were the hearing? If the whole were hearing, where were the smelling?
So the Most High is using those similitudes, those analogies, to let us know that every part of the body serves a purpose, whether it's the eye, the foot, the hand. Everybody can't be the head. Everybody can't be the hand. Everybody can't be the eyes, the foot. But together, we can push forward towards the mark as a body. But read verse 18.
Verse 18. But now hath God set the members, every one of them.
Who set the members?
God set the members, every one of them in the body, as it hath pleased him.
So as it has pleased him. So we are called in here, we are not to be comfortable, because God has positioned us in a place where it has pleased him. And we're supposed to do what? Fulfill that position. Let's prove that. Get James, and I'm going to show that, but not I'm going to show. God is showing that is a sin not to fulfill the position that God called you in to do. James chapter 4, start at verse 13.
The book of James, chapter 4 and verse 13. Go to now, ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city, and continue there a year, and buy and sell and get gain. Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow, for what is your life?
You see that? A lot of times we make these great big plans. The Lord said, you don't know if you're going to live the next second, minute, hour, day. He said, what is your life? Read.
It is even a vapor that appeareth.
Your life on earth is as a vapor, as a puff of smoke. It's here, gone the next day. That's how God sees our lives in time. Read.
That appeareth for a little while, a little time, and then vanisheth away. For that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that.
Read.
But now ye rejoice in your boastings. All such rejoicing is evil. Therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not.
You hear that? To know to do good and you don't do it is what?
To him it is sin.
To him it is sin. So the Lord called us to do some work. We know we got to do it, but we're going to do what? We stay comfortable and we hold back. We retract what the Lord called us to do and think that you are hurting men. No, the Lord is recording it. For he said, I called you for a purpose. Just like he called Jeremiah, just like he called Jonah, just like he called Ezekiel. And when they try to retract, Ezekiel, oh, you know what, your wife, the thing that you desire most, take that from you. So you'll understand Sirach chapter 2, where it says, let's read that. Sirach chapter 2, I think it started at verse 3. When thou come to serve the Lord, verse 1, read that.
Sirach chapter 2 and verse 1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
Read.
Set thy heart aright and constantly endure.
It didn't, remember, look, it, right off the bat, it never says get relaxed. Constantly endure. But he know he's going to bring it to you. You can't come into the truth. It's not the Christian church, and you could be coming here, sing praise and hymns from 9 a.m. to 12, break, second service, continue to sing hymns. Nah. The Lord said he's going to bring it to you. He said constantly endure you. So even with the Lord, you can't be comfortable. Read.
And make not haste in time of trouble.
Read.
Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
That is us pushing towards the mark. We're constantly fighting. Read.
Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully.
That means the Lord is going to bring things upon us that he needs to remove from us. For he said, whatever is brought upon you, take it cheerfully. Ezekiel had to take it cheerfully. He said, and do not cry. I'm going to take away the thing that thou desirest, and do not cry.
That's heavy. The Most High is serious about his work. Because the closest thing to Ezekiel, his wife. He said, don't even shed a tear. You better wake up and go and do the job I called you to do.
Well, you know what, Cap? The Lord knew that wife would have hindered the work. If you are serious about the Lord's work, he's going to remove the thing that is going to hinder the work.
So you saying
Message.
Ezekiel got kind of complacent then.
He might have get too comfortable. You can't be comfortable around the Lord, because when the Lord writes something, it must be executed. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It has to go forth. And whatever is in the way, blocking it, he is going to remove. Read, Sirach.
And be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
Be what?
Be patient when thou art changed to a low estate.
So the Lord does change your current situation to fit his purpose. You're not here to stay in your situation and then navigate around God's purpose. He makes sure he changes your situation so that his purpose is done. Where got you at? Is that it on that?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go back to that article. Not learning new skills. Let's start there.
Not learning new skills. If you only work on current strengths, you neglect the chance to develop new skills.
You see that? If to stay in your comfort zone, all I want to do is teach Deuteronomy 20. All I want to do is fly mission. Or your comfort zone might be, all I want to do is nothing. That might be you came in the body to do. I just want to do nothing. I just want to sit in the back, way in the back, for 5 years, and when the chariots come, I'll be up front. Or I want to be a rebellious wife. I want to curse my husband out. I want to be a demon. But when I come to the school, Hello, my Lord. Most High in Christ, nigga. No, we laugh, but we gotta say, are we comfortable? Are we deceiving ourselves in what we're doing? Are we setting our house aright? Are we doing the things necessary that God may say, you know what? They are fighting to be a great nation. They're not trying to stay comfortable. Where got yet? Read. Not learning new skills?
In taking on risks, you work on new skills and spend time improving relative weaknesses.
So if you have a weakness, you want to be in something that is going to strengthen that weakness. So if you have a struggle reading, if you have a struggle with reading, you want to be what? A reader. You want to practice reading. If you have a struggle being in front of an audience, you want to overcome that by being put in front of an audience. Camp 101. Different things. You get an opportunity with the brothers in the circle. You learn to be more outspoken so you can build up what? The men around you can push you to give you that confidence to speak, to teach, because that's what the Lord is asking for us to go and teach Israel. Teach them. Be that example to them. What are the next bullet point?
Missing the opportunity to make your comfort zone
Actually,
bigger.
I don't want that. We don't want to make our comfort zone bigger. That's going into something else. There's a look in the Telegram. There's a chart that Pagiel sent me. Put that up. The different comfort zones. Different comfort zones. You see where it says comfort zone? Feel safe, in control. Nobody can tell me nothing. I can do what I want. Nobody can see me. I'm all the way. Yeah, nobody can see me. I'm all the way in the back of my house. Just doing whatever I want to do in the Lord. Fear zone. Lack of self-confidence finds excuses. Proverbs, let's get that. Proverbs 26:13. This is another level of being comfortable. Now we start to make excuses. And the bishop always said an excuse is a lie. An excuse is just a crafty way of lying.
Proverbs chapter 26 and verse 13. The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way. A lion is in the streets.
We hear that a lot. There's a lion in the way, Cat. The lion is, I have a headache. I can't make it, Cat. I got the runs. I got this. I got that. But if somebody posts, hey, brothers, we feasted here at the grill. We light up the grill. Who's
What
coming?
time?
What time?
What you need me to bring?
Before you post what time, hey, I'm here, bro. I'm here. So our true intentions reveal themselves. What we actually about. Put that image back up. Now we have the learning zone. Deals with challenges and problems. Acquire new skills. You see how far that zone is from the comfort zone? Extend your comfort zone. Mean that and what that means, let's go back to the article. That's what that's going into. All praises to the AV booth, man. Levi class was, without a hitch. But as soon as Benjamin talks, wow. It's racist, man. Man, it's even worse. All right, go ahead. Bring out the article. Let's try to get through it. We're not going to stay comfortable. We're going to get through it, man. All right, read that one. Missing the opportunity to make your comfort zone bigger. That's what it's talking about. Read.
Missing the opportunity to make your comfort zone bigger. One of the most compelling reasons to push outside your usual boundaries is to stretch your comfort zone. When you take risks, embrace some discomfort and doubt, and succeed, you not only improve your overall skill
You
set.
see that? So when you extend your comfort zone, learn new skill sets, learn a new challenge, given the opportunity to lead in different roles and positions, you now extend your zone of comfortability. Now you're now comfortable in a new arena. Now you can take what you have learned and do what? Groom some other leaders. Because now you have attained that skill.
And, pull up that comfort zone chart again one more time. Not that one.
Yeah, pull the chart.
The chart. Comfort zone. I want y'all to see. I'm glad to see fear zone right there in front of it. Because a lot of times that's what hinders us, and we stay in that bubble of that comfort zone. Because fear is waiting right outside. But once you break through it, that learning zone is waiting on you, right? So we pass the fear, you break through the fear, and then now you're in the learning zone. Learning zone mean what? You tried, you failed, but you went back at it again. You didn't stop. And I like that program Cap got, the Prophet Training Manual. That Prophet Training Manual, help you master opening up at camp, diving into Deuteronomy 28, and mastering Deuteronomy 28. Once you master Deuteronomy 28, now you're free to break through. And guess what you just did? You made your comfort zone bigger now, because Deuteronomy 28 ain't a thing for you no more. Yeah, give me verse 32. I'm going to connect the dots right now. You mastered it. Now you're at a place where it's not a thing for you. That's how you expand your comfort zone. But you must first break through that fear barrier first. Don't be scared to read it by yourself. Ask those questions. That's one way you smash fear. Ask those questions. So now later on, when you're rehearsing it by yourself, it's easy. It's easy now.
And go back to that chart again. Good point, Cap, because I'm going to show you something in that chart. In my early years in this truth, you see that fear zone. I'm trying to make it real for you men, because don't look at leadership as some glorified position. All leaders go through something. Pull back up the chart. You see that lack of self-confidence? Sometimes I still dabble in that gray area right there, because sometimes you might be doing a class and you can ask my wife. I'll be like, man, you're trying to go through the class with them, and is it right? And because that fear is trying to set in. But when you have men around you that give you that confidence, like I said, when the men teach up here, you'll notice it's not just me teaching. So that's where the confidence that the men around you say, because when I bring out a point, Cap brings out a point, and then it triggers me to say, all right, Cap brought that. Okay, I could bring this scripture out to line up with it. So it's not just my class, it is the class. It is the second class, meaning that whoever is up here collectively is trying to bring forth the same message. Put it back up there. You gonna say something, Cap? So we dealt with the fear zone. So when you examine these things, you got to make sure whatever you're dealing with, and be honest with yourself. You might lack confidence. You might be someone that makes excuses. You might be affected by what others say, because that's a big thing too. When you're given criticism, when somebody tells you, listen, you don't do it like that. Now you are highly offended. You don't take it as the person is trying to make me better. You take an offense to it. Put it back up. So you're going to examine the fear zone, learning zone. You want to acquire new skills so you can extend your your level of comfort in doing things. And once you acquire that new skill, it doesn't stop. You're trying to acquire another new skill and another new skill. And that's what makes you not a novice.
The thing with that being in that learning zone, when you come out of that fear zone, you see how in the fear zone, pull it back up real quick for me. In the fear zone, you see the first thing at the top of it says lack self-confidence. You see in that learning zone, there is no lack of self-confidence. Let's let you know when you learning, your confidence is going higher and higher and higher, and you can only stay in there for a certain amount of time. You're gonna acquire new skills, you've extended your comfort zone, you deal with challenging problems. You can only stay there for a little while. Now you're in the growth zone.
Yeah, Cap, you notice where it says in lack self-confidence, right next to it says deal with challenges and problems. Because when you lack self-confidence, you try to avoid problems and you try to avoid a challenge. You start to say, you know what, I don't think I can do it. Or maybe you should give it to somebody else because you're trying to avoid growing up. You're trying to avoid responsibility. You're actually trying to avoid being a leader. That's what it is. You're trying to avoid being a leader. Put back that's image. So now we got the growth zone. Find purpose. Live dream. We ain't dreaming. Our mission is to attain that mark. That's not a dream. That is a real thing. Set new goals so that, again, you acquire a skill, right after you have mastered it or attained it, there should be a new goal set in place. Hence, we have what? The vision meeting. The vision meeting doesn't stay the same vision as 2018. It's another vision and another vision because we must never be comfortable in that seat. Go back. Conquer objective. That's part of leading. Got to be able to conquer your objectives.
Now, to get to that conquering of objectives, that means that you have to go through the phase, pull it back up, got to come out of the fear zone, got to be in that learning zone, and then that growth zone, that conquering objectives is you got a checklist. What you say is what you do. That's conquering objectives. That's when you're in your growth zone. But that stuff does not get accomplished while you're learning or here or in the comfort zone. You won't conquer your objective. That's goal that set the new goals. You will say something and you will never live up to it, and you're always wondering why you never conquer those objectives that you set out for yourself, because you're somewhere in between that comfort and fear zone. And you haven't gotten to the learning zone yet to be able to grow and conquer the objective.
Hey Cap, you lining up this lesson perfect, man. All praises, because you know who conquered their objectives? Our forefathers. When they were given an objective to conquer, they did it. And let's read about some of these examples. Since Cap brought it up. Let's get on Genesis. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. Let's read that.
The book of Genesis, chapter 12 and verse 1. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing.
Now let's start with it. What if Abraham has said, man, Lord, that's far, man. First of all, Abraham didn't know where the Lord was sending him. He didn't know. Let's pull up that map in the Telegram. Let's look at this. Let's look at this, because we gotta visualize the courage Abraham, not just him and his household, had to have, and his wife. She had to. No, we know a lot of times we telling our wives do this, do that, and it's a lot of murmuring why and the face change. But pull up that map. Zoom that in a little bit. Look at right there. You see that? See where it says Haran? That's where Abraham dwelt. The land of Mesopotamia. And look at where he had to travel to. Shechem. In the land of Canaan. Well, let's read about it. Let's read about it.
Verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him. And Lot went with him. And Abram was 75.
Abraham was what?
75 years old.
He was 75 years old. I'd be complaining, but damn. Abraham was 75. My bones crack when I wake up. But Abraham said, you know what, Lord, lead the way. Let's jump. We're going to jump around, go to Acts chapter 2, a precept. Start at Acts 7, verse 2.
The book of Acts, chapter 7 and verse 2. And he said, men, brethren, and fathers, hearken. The God of glory appeared unto our father Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia, before he dwelt in Charan, and said unto him, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred, and come into the land which I shall show thee. Then came he out of the land of the Chaldeans and dwelt in Charan. And from thence, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land wherein ye now dwell. And he gave him none inheritance in it, no, not so much as to set his foot on. Yet he promised that he would give it to him for a possession, and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child.
But you see that? So Abraham was also pushing towards the mark. But Abraham never got the mark yet. He never got the promise yet. He's still waiting. Read, what verse you at?
Verse 6. And God spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage, and entreat them evil 400 years. And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place.
So Abraham understood there was a time had to pass, but he still had to push towards the mark till his purpose that he was called for was fulfilled. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8.
Officer Tobias posted in our group, he said the distance from Haran to Shechem is 400 miles.
Damn.
75 years old.
Their bodies were different back then, though. 75, he was probably like 19 now. Yeah, 19, do a 100-yard dash in 2 seconds. Let's go to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8.
Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 8. By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out, not knowing whither he went.
You see that? He went out, not knowing where he was going. But he did it by faith. So how do we go out now? We go out by what? Brothers, wait, we don't know how we go out? By faith. So who here has seen the kingdom of heaven? Who's been there? Anybody been there? Nah, so we're going out by faith to do the work, to make sure the work gets done. So we can't be comfortable. Abraham did the same thing. He went out by faith. He obeyed God. Read.
By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundations.
Because he was looking for a city that has foundations, read.
Whose builder and maker is God. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed, and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised.
So even the wife followed being faithful like her husband. That is very important. Marriages, unions in Israel, you can't have a faithful husband and a wicked, rebellious wife. Eventually, it's going to surface. It will surface. Jump to verse 24.
Verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
So this is another one of our forefathers. Moses didn't say, you know what, hey, let me stay comfortable in Pharaoh's house, lay back, enjoy the riches and the luxuries of Egypt. No, he didn't say that. He said, you know what, I'll go to a low estate with my people. Read.
Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Rather to be comfortable in the pleasures of sin for a moment. That is the old man and old woman in us. Where we want to stay comfortable, reminisce, think back on how wicked we were, how much of a good time we had in the club, smoking this, that, drinking this, that. The good old days where we had no captain over us, no leadership telling us to come and do Gatorade fundraiser, come and help build the nation up, wake up on Sunday for 2 hours, come and help flow flyers, come to the Feast of Tabernacles, come and do all the things that God requires. I done had that in my old life. I wonder what the old man is doing. No, we can't go back there. That is a comfortable, dangerous zone to be in. Read.
Esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward.
All right, so that's it. Now let's go to Numbers chapter 32. Because Captain Severus touched on this earlier. I'm gonna go at it again. Because this is when we stay comfort in that comfort spot, it can be a great discouragement for the entire nation. Because we are supposed to be setting that example of pushing forward. Start at verse 1.
Numbers chapter 32 and verse 1. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Jazer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle, the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest and unto the princes of the congregation,
So
saying,
here comes good old Northern Kingdom. Read.
Adaroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Elealeh and Shebam and Nebo and Beon, even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel.
Right? He smote these nations before the congregation of Israel. Read.
Is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Wherefore said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan.
You hear what Northern Kingdom say? Let us remain comfortable here in this land. Let's not do what the Lord say. Let's stay back and just stay in this land. I mean, the cattle got grass here. I mean, we good. Read it again.
Verse 5. Wherefore said they, if we have found grace in thy sight.
So the Northern Kingdom try to bring it with bring it smooth to, hey, if we found grace in your sight, try to put it on Moses. Read.
Let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan. And Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben,
Good old Northern Kingdom. Come on.
shall your brethren go to war, and shall ye sit here? And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of
You see that?
Israel from
Just two tribes. Now with that, if we was leaders and we say, no, let's not do this, let's not do that, let's just lay back, let's just, let's not push to get a new building, let's not do nothing. everybody in here will be discouraged. And eventually you'll go from 200 people in here to just 3 people up here just talking to say, hey, you remember when we used to have sisters over here? Or you remember we used to have the brother all the way in the back? We just reminiscing in old nonsense stories. Read. Where you at?
Verse 7. And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them. Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. But when they went up into the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel. They should not go into the land which the Lord had given them.
Yeah, because they brought back a what? False report. Read.
And the Lord's anger was kindled the same time.
So that's why it said, not to do the Lord's work angers the Lord. It's a sin. We have to push and do the Lord's work. We can't be comfortable. Because you know what? He's not comfortable. He's in the heavens getting ready to rage war on earth. He's not sitting back, these grapes are good. I look at them down there suffering. Nah, he's getting ready to bring it. So why aren't we getting ready to bring it? Read.
Surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me. Save
right.
Caleb.
Finish that.
Save Caleb the son of Jephunneh, the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord.
And the reason why this the Lord saw that Israel didn't fully follow him, we're going to read about that. Psalms 106, start at verse 4. Because remember, our forefathers, they saw everything. They witnessed what's going on. But that being comfortable started to set in. And we're going to read about that history. Psalms 106?
Psalm chapter 106 and verse 4. Remember me, O Lord, with the favor that thou bearest unto thy people. O visit me with thy salvation, that I may see the good of thy chosen, that I may rejoice in the gladness of thy nation, that I may glory with thine inheritance. We have sinned with our fathers. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt.
You see that? Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. Read.
They remembered not the multitude of thy mercy, but provoked him at the sea.
So you're going to ask yourself, why do we go over Passover so much, over Feast of Tabernacles, over? Because if we don't go over these things, read verse 7 again.
Verse 7. Our fathers understood not thy wonders in Egypt. They remembered not the multitude of thy mercies.
These feast days, these high holidays, it allows us to remember what the Lord has done. What he did to save a nation, which is us, the nation of Israel. Read.
But provoked him at the sea, even at the Red Sea.
Then we provoke him at the delivering us. We provoked him. Read.
Nevertheless, he saved them for his name's sake.
Save us for his name's sake. You know what? Gave them my name. I'm going to save them. Read.
That he might make his mighty power to be known. He rebuked the Red Sea also, and it was dried up.
I'm going to read a little bit faster.
So he led them through the depths as through the wilderness. And he saved them from the hand of him that hated them, and redeemed them from the hand of the enemy. And the waters covered their enemies, there was not one of them left. Then believed they his words, they sang his praise.
Read verse 13, read.
Verse 13. They soon forgot his works. They waited not for his counsel.
Who here can imagine the Atlantic Ocean opening up, we walk through it, and once we get on the other side, we immediately forget what happened? Oh. Well, that was a dream.
I thought we were playing over here.
How we end up in the Bahamas, 90 miles away? Wow. Amazing. And then we say, oh, God is good. God is good all the time. I forget what he did. Read.
Verse 14, but lusted exceedingly in the wilderness and tempted God in the desert. And he gave them their request, but sent...
This is a comfortable nation, for we just came out of bondage. Read.
But sent leanness into their soul. They envied Moses also in the camp, and
Hate
Aaron...
leadership, same thing today. Hate leadership, speak evil, envy the people that the Most High put to be a leader to a nation without leaders. Read.
And Aaron, the saint of the Lord. The earth opened and swallowed up Dathan, and covered the company of Abiram. And a fire was kindled in their company. The flame burned up the wicked. They made a calf in Horeb and worshipped the molten image. Thus they changed their glory into the similitude of an ox that eateth grass.
That's what we change our glory to. An animal that eats grass. We become like Elon, worshiping a cow over there in India. Read 21.
Verse 21. They forgat God, their Savior, which had done great things in Egypt, wondrous works in the land of Ham, and terrible things by the Red Sea. Therefore he said that he would destroy them, had not Moses, his chosen, stood before him in the breach.
So Moses had a plea for us. Read.
To turn away his wrath, lest he should destroy them. Yea, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not.
We even despise the land. We went from getting hay and making bricks, and the Lord said, but you know what? Like Cap said, we wanted that microwave. We don't want to make an effort. We don't want to stay. We want everything to be given the comforts. Take us from slavery, drop us right into the land of milk and honey, and we just lay back and eat grapes and chill, drink wine. But in the kingdom, we're going to have to work too. Because you're going to be, to rule other nations, you're not sitting back just willy-nilly doing nothing. You got to rule nations. Read. Where we at?
Verse 24. Yea, they despised the pleasant land. They believed not his word, but murmured in their tents. But murmured in their tents.
We do the same thing today. Our tents is our home, our apartment in here. Wherever we go, we have some complaint. Even though we have it all, we still complain. Murmuring. I don't like this, that, why, this. Who told him he can tell me this, that? You're comfortable. And if you watch the news, they just exploded, a bomb exploded in Beirut. And the body, Deacon Asaph went over, body split in half, ripped open. They're running for their life. And if you don't get Starbucks in 2 seconds, all hell break loose in Babylon. Because you know what? We are comfortable here. Right now, they have a scenic view of the entire ocean, not by choice, by bomb. The whole high-rise windows blown out. That's their home. But you go home to your comfortable bed. And if two of y'all in the house, you guys fight, argue, bicker, complain. But you have it all. You're comfortable. Read, where we at?
Verse 25. But murmured in their tents, and hearkened not unto the voice of the Lord. Therefore he lifted up his hand against them, to overthrow them in the wilderness.
What? He lifted up his hand against them and overthrew them. Read.
In the wilderness, to overthrow their seed also among the nations, and to scatter them in the land.
In the land. So that's why we end up being a comfortable nation. Not paying attention to what we must push towards. All right, so Israel, time to get out of that comfort zone. The fight isn't over yet.
We used to scream black power while Heron was pushed. But at the end of the day, nothing's in vain. IUIC has been given a vision. The tents of Judah has risen. Many has attempted the mission, minor murmuring, omitting, and missing the mark. Just reading that he had the flame of fire in his eyes gave us the spark. We on Paul's mission. We out on the road, purple and gold, from Mexico, Cuba, Haiti, Ghana, Sierra Leone. 144,000 boots banging, concrete crackling. These are our men repented at heart. The scriptures is proof. IUIC, we deliver the truth.